Bonjour, hello everyone. Welcome to Street Level, episode number 7, lucky number 7, we hope. This format is a bit different because of new lockdown measures. City employees used their cell phones and did some self-video. The people are masked for the most part. Only if they're outside and properly distanced are they not wearing a mask. You will take a tour of the future home of the Art Center. You will also meet some funny firefighters. And you'll also hear about sewers, most important topic, and we'll take a look at a flusher truck. So welcome to Street Level. Bienvenue.
Hi everybody, my name is Kieran. I'm a City of Cornwall General Bylaw Enforcement Officer. This book in front of me here, some of the bylaws being enforced in the City of Cornwall. We'll go into greater detail later on. One of the things we've been dealing with in the City of Cornwall is we're getting a lot of questions in regards to our vehicles. It says Provincial Offences Officer and it's causing a little bit of confusion. No need to be confused. A Provincial Offences Officer and a Bylaw Enforcement Officer are one and the same. The reason why it says Provincial Offences Officer is because the province actually delegates that authority to the municipality, who gives it to myself and my colleagues so that we do have the legal authority to enforce the City of Cornwall's municipal bylaws. Having said that, one of the misconceptions in the city, not only this city, but surrounding cities, bylaw enforcement departments, is whenever bylaw enforcement is visiting a home, we're there to simply issue a ticket and move on. That is unfortunately just not true, okay? My main goal as a bylaw enforcement officer is to inform, educate, and gain compliance. Unfortunately, if that doesn't work, I can use verbal warnings, written warnings, and again, if that doesn't work, we can result in issuing one of these here. This is a provincial offense notice. This is a Part 1 ticket. So I'd like to take the time to show you how to use one of these machines because some people are still having difficulty. So when you come up to the machine, it's typically black. The screen is black. We hit the green triangle, it'll pop up. Screen's on, and we take our plate information, and very important that we put it in perfectly correct. No digits off. So C, D, S, F, 4, 8, 5. And then we hit confirm. Once we do that, it'll say verifying license plate. Give it a second, communication has started. At this point, it's done, but we still have one more step. We do need to hit the green check one more time. Now the transaction is processing and it's gonna print us a slip. So right now we've registered our plate and we're good to go. We do not need to put this in our dash. As long as we put our plate in correctly, when the officer comes around to check if you paid for parking and they scan your plate, it's going to give them the information that you have. I'm out here at Gaindo Park and I would like to speak a little bit about the animal control bylaw. Anytime you're in a City of Cornwall park or off your property at all, it is expected that the dog be leashed at all times. This is for liability purposes and for you to have control over your dog. Reduces risk for incident when out in the community and in the parks. Also, it is expected every dog owner in the City of Cornwall does register their dog with the city. This is for liability purposes, and also if anything were to happen, like the dog get loose and lost, if I were to recover the dog, I can bring it back to your home using the tag information. However, if that's not there, it would be brought to the SPCA where it would be impounded. And when you go to collect your dog, you would have to pay a fee and potentially face some fines to take the dog home. It's much better for me to be able to take the dog directly to you and move on. So now I'd like to speak a little bit about the zoning bylaw, and I'm going to cover two of the most common questions that come into the bylaw enforcement office in regards to zoning. So one of the questions we get is in regards to the recreational vehicles in the driveway. So it is not permitted to store your recreational vehicle in the front driveway. If you are going to store your recreational vehicle in a residential area, it is expected that you store the vehicle in the side or the rear yard. If this is not possible, it is expected that you do store the vehicle at an appropriate storage facility and leave it there. Second most common question that we get is about temporary structures or temporary garages. So from the month of May 1st till October 31st, the tarp on the temporary garage does need to be removed. Any other time, the temporary garage can have the tarp on it. This is for the purpose of if the tarp was on year-round, that structure would be permanent and not a temporary storage facility. and a permit would be required. If there's any other questions on any of the other bylaws in the City of Cornwall, please visit our City of Cornwall website where you will find all your answers. Thank you.
I'm so glad that you guys got to meet Kieran and learn a little bit more about bylaw enforcement. Next, you're going to see my face again at the Civic Complex.
You may not be able to tell, but there's some major work going on. Every single seat cushion is being replaced, one at a time. And I'm looking forward to the day when you can sit in the stands and get a sense of how comfortable these new seats are. We're also going to give you a little bit of a light show. The lights were installed last year, I believe, and we haven't had a chance to show them to the public yet.
Whether you're a hockey fan or not, you're probably excited to get back into the Civic Complex, sit in one of those comfy seats and enjoy the new light features. Up next, we have a segment that was put together by our building department, which is a department that we don't often see at work, but what they're doing is so important. So take a listen.
Hello, my name is James Moore. I am a building official at the City of Cornwall's Building and Bylaw Division. Today we're going to be conducting a roof truss inspection for a new single-family dwelling in the north end of the city. So one of the first steps in conducting a roof truss inspection is to obtain the roof truss layout, which is right here, as well as roof truss detail sheets. Whenever we obtain the detail sheets, we need to review to see where the lateral bracing and T-bracing is going to be located. So we have to go through all the sheets, find them, and then try and find where they are located.
I'm a building official here with the City of Cornwall. And as a building official, one of our main jobs is to make sure that buildings are constructed in accordance with the Ontario Building Code. So that just basically means that buildings are built in a way that they're going to stand up over a long time, they're going to be strong, they're going to be healthy for the occupants to live in, they're going to resist fire if that ever happens, and that the occupants will enjoy them the way that the space is constructed inside as well.
Testa, and I'm the acting Deputy Chief Building Official with the City of Cornwall. So before a permit gets issued, we do a plans review on the permit application file. So right now we have a set of plans here, so we'll go through the set of plans to ensure that what's designed is in conformance with the Ontario Building Code. So we go through this code to ensure that everything put on here meets it, and if there's any corrections that need to be made, we'll let the designer know or the homeowner know, and then once the corrections are made, we then put the permit application together for permit issuance. So right now we're here in a mixed use commercial, so we're in the parking structure, and right above us there will be commercial spaces, and then above that there will be residential. So part of the inspection process is we look for fire ratings. So as you can see behind me, we have a steel beam here, and this steel beam will then have a rating that gets applied to it, and it's what we call fire resistance rating. So that's an important part of the inspection process, as well as any element that will penetrate the fire separation. It's what we call a fire stop system, so that if a fire happens in this level, it'll contain to this space and it won't lead to any other story. So for a project like this, there's several inspections that would take place throughout the whole construction process. So you'd start off and we would come for an excavation inspection, and then we'd work our way through, we'd inspect framing, other multiple inspections throughout the process, and then we would end with the final inspection.
Challenges with the COVID-19 pandemic, in addition to improvements recently in technology, have meant that we've made drastic changes to the way that permits are applied for. In the past, we've taken permits at our front counter. You've submitted 2 sets of physical copies of drawings, as well as filled in by hand forms. Now we accept permits electronically through email, and we upload those drawings in PDF form to a software called Bluebeam where we can add notes, we can add our stamp, and we can send them back to you all ready to go as a full permit package. This means that we don't have to keep our file rooms quite as full. We can keep all of the files electronically forever, and you don't have to come into our office, which limits the amount of travel that you have to do during these challenging times. Every municipality is required to keep a careful record of all the permits that have been issued. This is one of 3 of our file rooms, and in this file room we keep all of the largest permits. You'll find hospitals, schools, and just about any other large building that has been built since the 60s in this room. This is one of the oldest sets of physical blueprints that we have here at the city. It's an addition to the Cornwall General Hospital that was put on in 1967. We keep these files because from time to time, the owners may need to put on additions and they may not have the original files anymore. It's also important for us to keep records so that we know if new construction activity is happening that is different from the original.
So continuing the behind the scenes theme, next up you're going to meet our 3 newest firefighter recruits. So Briar, Emily, and Rudy are going to take you behind the scenes of what a recruit or a probationary firefighter's day looks like.
Today we're going to show you a little bit about what we do in our day-to-day workday. Rudy, you want to tell me a little bit about what you're studying?
Absolutely. We are reading through the book on how to lay a hose inside a stairwell.
Nice.
Tips and tricks and what the standards are in order to complete our skill testing sheets.
So every morning we also check our BA to make sure we have air flowing.
We're going to give you a quick demonstration of how we put on our bunker gear and get in the fire truck within a minute. Ready, go! So first thing, Brian takes off her boots. She's going to put on her bunker pants. Throw on the shoulder straps. And do up her Velcro and flip. Second, she'll go for a flash hood, which protects our face and neck area. The next step is to swing on your jacket. And then 2 points of contact to get into the fire truck here. Quickly do up the zipper. Once you get in, door goes shut. Hey, Captain, can I get you anything? Need anything? Water, coffee, tea? Anything off? No? Alright.
Did someone say they needed something? No? No? Okay. Hey Cap, did you need water? Anything, Mom? I got it. In here. Okay, down the door.
So you might have been able to tell that our newest recruits don't take themselves too seriously, so thanks for that laugh, guys. Next up, we're going to take a look at what road reconstruction is all about. We rebuild a certain number of roads every year, and it's a pretty in-depth process, pretty important process, and we have a whole team of people who are going to tell you about it.
Hi, I'm Steve McNally, the City Surveyor. Today I'm going to talk about my role in the City of Cornwall's reconstruction project. Once the engineering team has reviewed the current state of the road and determined that the water main and sewer system needs repair, it is then my job to come in and perform a pre-construction survey. A pre-construction survey is capturing the height, length, width, and depth of all existing features, including driveways, walkways, retaining walls, all the way up to the front of someone's house.
Another very important part of the survey work is capturing what properties are like from the front of the house to the road. So if the redesigned road is raised or lowered, the surrounding properties match the new road design. These items include walkways, retaining walls, driveways, etc. Once I'm finished picking up all the existing features of the street, I would then download the job and our design team would begin with the redesign.
Hi, my name's Alex, and I'm a designer for the city's engineering department. Today, I'll be going over the role my job plays in a City of Cornwall road reconstruction. So, once Steve has completed the survey of the road, I import that information into a design software that allows me to create a 3D model of the existing conditions. So here's what that 3D model would look like. Here you can see we've got the intersection, we've got existing center lines, we've got a curb, and some driveways, for example. I also need to import some line work from our city's GIS mapping network and draw in items such as property lines or fences or anything that may be useful for the design. Overall, this creates a full representation of the existing conditions of the road. I then begin redesigning the road, the sewers, and the water main. The redesign process consists of two parts, the above ground corridor and the underground pipes. So first we need to decide what that above ground corridor will look like. We design sidewalks and roads so that rainwater is able to flow to catch basins or to ditches, ideally to avoid the formation of any ponds. We also design them so that they're not too steep for people to walk on, for wheelchairs, or for someone, let's say, pushing a stroller. We then create an existing and proposed profile of what the road will look like. So here we've got the entire length of the section that we're looking to redesign. The pink dashed line represents the existing profile, while the blue solid line is what we're proposing the new profile to be. So in this case, we had to lower the road to allow for proper drainage and for it to tie into the property as well. Once we've got the profile complete, we're able to create a corridor to model the road and its components. So this is what that would look like. So here we've got the corridor, we've got the road, the curbs, the boulevard, the sidewalk, and then it ties into the properties. I would then move on to the underground pipe network design. Most of the streets that we choose for our designs for our reconstruction have an existing combined sewer network. This means that both stormwater from rain and wastewater from houses collect into the same combined sewer network and then flow to our wastewater treatment plant. When we redesign our streets, we want to separate that combined network into a storm network and a sanitary network. This is important because rainwater is then able to go directly to our river, while only the sanitary sewage makes its way to the wastewater treatment plant. Once my sewers and water main are sized, I draw them into the profile, and they look like this. Here in the light blue, we've got the new proposed water main. The light green, we've got the new storm network, and then in red, we've got the new sanitary network. So overall, we've got 2 new sewers and 1 water network. I then put together a full set of construction drawings. These show the contractor exactly where to rebuild the road and the network, and as well at what elevation and slope they're to be built at.
So budget deliberations are coming up in February, and we'll learn more about what projects are going to be approved, what road reconstruction projects are going to be approved at that point. Up next is a short tour of the Arts Center, which is undergoing some testing right now, and we're really looking forward to showing you some design ideas in the coming weeks.
Hello, my name is Jamie Fothrop. I'm the manager of the Recreation and Facilities Department for the City of Cornwall, and I'm here to take you through a tour of the soon-to-be Arts and Culture Center in the city. Okay, I'm standing next to the existing vault door that the bank used to use. And behind is the vault itself, but here is the vault door. We have been looking at ways to possibly look at preserving the vault or the door in some way into the renovated or new Arts Center. However, unfortunately, due to the location of the vault itself, it falls in a location which will eventually be used for the Black Box Theater. So any kind of repurposing of this door would likely require removal and installation in the new area of the building. So as you can see here, we've got a test hole that's been dug through the floor of our new art center that we're working on design currently. And what's happening in here right now is we're doing a bunch of destructive investigations to try and determine as much as possible a lot of the existing conditions with the building on site so that we can account for that properly in the design. What this is here, this is an excavation that's dug down to show the existing foundation on one of our shared walls with one of our neighbors. So what's very important for us is to understand exactly how that wall is supported and what it rests on, so that whatever we do inside the building on our side doesn't negatively impact our neighboring structures. So what's showing here is a concrete foundation on top of a concrete footing down at the bottom of the excavation. And we've done about 12 of these digs throughout the building to completely understand exactly what that condition looks like. One of the other types of destructive testing and investigations that we've done in the Art Center is a designated substance survey. The purpose of a survey like that is to basically analyze all the different materials in the building, try and identify the presence of any potential hazardous materials that a contractor who eventually gets the tender to do the renovation work and the construction work, so that they know what material they're dealing with, so that they can adequately protect their employees during the demolition phase, as well as to dispose of those hazardous materials in an environmentally responsible manner. What they've done is they've collected about 90 some samples of various materials throughout the building, and this just being an example of a sample of plaster having been removed from the building and taken for analysis to determine the presence or absence of any hazardous materials like asbestos.
So art and recreation and emergency services are all key components of what the city provides to its residents, but we also are the service manager for things like social housing and childcare and Ontario Works. Scott Bullock works for Ontario Works, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his job.
I thought I'd show you a typical office in our social and housing department on the 4th floor. This is what it kind of looks like. We all have a cubicle that is kind of designed like this, so that we can keep all our important documents and files. The intent of the Ontario Works program is to help people in temporary financial need find sustainable employment and achieve self-reliance through the provision of effective integrated employment services and financial assistance. When your application has been approved for Ontario Works, all recipients are required to search for employment. Usually what we would have you do is register with JobZone or some sort of job supporting agency to help support you in finding work and being connected with programs that will help you get employment or training that will lead to employment. It's also possible for individuals to partake in activities like completing their high school education, which could also increase their employment probabilities. However, not all people are able to do employment due to a physical or mental disability. So there is also the option of deferral. And in order to be deferred, you would need to have a completed medical done. Once that's received from the doctor specifying, the period of disability or the restrictions around employment, we can either work with you on how to find employment around those restrictions, or there's also the option of referring you to the Ontario Disability Support Program. My role here at this office is to help people to transition over to the Ontario Disability Support Program through their applications. At our office, besides having caseworkers, we also have family support workers, and those individuals are individuals that will help someone who is trying to pursue either child support or spousal support. And usually they'll try to determine whether or not that's feasible and then refer you to the Family Law Information Center at the courthouse. So it's very important to stay in contact with your worker, provide them with updates on your address, any income changes, any benefit unit changes, the addition of a spouse, the addition of a child, any benefit changes that you're getting in terms of child benefit, tax benefit, your tax benefits, tax refunds, any gifts that you receive, loans that you're taking out. Those are all things that your worker needs to know about in order to see what you are actually eligible for. And by keeping constant contact with your worker and verifying those things, it cuts down the chance that there being an inconsistency with your file. In order to help clients achieve a state of self-reliance, as caseworkers, we're constantly doing referrals to various agencies. So that could be JobZone, CMHA, Cornwall Community Hospital, Inspire Community and Support Services. Could be referrals for our ID to go to Service Ontario. It's important that you let your worker know what exactly your goal is, where you want to end up, and we might have a connection that could help you get there.
Thanks so much for that, Scott. Finally, we have a quick conversation about sewers. you may not realize, but your day-to-day actions have a huge impact on the health and quality of our sewer infrastructure. So you're going to meet the team that takes care of some of the issues that might arise, and they're going to give you a few tips at the end for what you can do to help keep our infrastructure healthy.
Hello, I'm Bob Thompson. I work for the Municipal Works of Cornwall in the Water and Sewer Department. This is my colleague, Jason Little. We've been working for the Water and Sewer Department for about 12 years. We operate this vehicle. It's a hydrovac jet rotting machine or combo machine. I'm just going to take a walk around the truck and show you what's on it. Over here is the auxiliary engine that runs the water pump. In here is we can run this truck 365. There's a hot water tank, boiler. So this truck can go out 24/7, 365. Up top is a debris tank when we do the excavating. On this side is our pipes that we have stored. This is the fan that runs the vacuum. These are our high pressure wands when we do vacuum. Here's the vacuum pipe when we do hydro excavation, used for exposing or daylighting all the utilities that are in the ground. I get called to each dig site for sewer and water. We look for the gas, bell, fiber, water, pretty much anything that's underground. I'll expose it before they dig so they don't damage it. We clean out catch basins. We do manholes that are full of debris. All of this takes care of that. Very essential piece of equipment that we use. Like I said, it's used almost every day. And this is our reel for when we flush sewers. We have 15 different heads for different applications for the sewer mains that we keep clean. Preventive maintenance. So this thing is 600 feet of hose, 3/4 inch line, or up to 3,000 pounds of pressure. So we try to keep all the mains clean. Very essential piece of equipment. Our biggest problem in the sewer mains still is grease. Wipe the grease out of your pots before you clean them. Don't put it in the sewer because it's a mess. And flushable materials going in the sewer that aren't flushable, we're having a problem with that too.
Bonjour, hello. Hope you enjoyed that episode of Street Level. I want to remind people that city offices remain closed during this lockdown period. However, city business does continue, and we do want to hear from you. You can reach out to us through social media, through the website, through telephone, because essential services continue. I also want to remind people to stay home. I know that we're getting tired, that this is difficult, but it's important at this crucial time to protect our hospital, to protect our healthcare workers, to wash hands, social distance, and stay home as much as possible. And get outside for some exercise that we can do safely. Please check out cornwall.ca/winter for all of the great things that you can still do. Merci. À la prochaine. Take care.